was the high time for teen movies and adventure flicks that remain classics to this day. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 movies of 1985. For this list, we've looked at the lasting cult status of some of the biggest hits of the year in question, as well as the films that were loved by critics and audiences.
In these days, that is something to be commended and rewarded.
Some hold up nicely over time, others maybe not so much. Either way, sit back and enjoy this blast from the past. Number 10. Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. Starring Mel Gibson in his prime, this Australian movie is the third installment of the Mad Max franchise.
Who you?
Hey, Max.
Troubled former Main Force Patrol officer Mad Max is roaming the desert after nuclear activity has destroyed nearly all of civilization. Soon, he finds himself at the mercy of Bartertown's evil ruler, played by the timeless Tina Turner. The action-adventure flick was a success with audiences and critics alike, though its box office returns were a bit less than the previous two films.
You!
Me? You.
30 years later, director George Miller returned to the universe of Mad Max in one of the most anticipated movies of 2015, with Mad Max Fury Road and Tom Hardy in the title role. Number 9. Peewees Big Adventure.
Good morning, Pee-wee! Good morning, Mr. Breakfast!
If you weren't born in the 80s, then we should tell you that the Pee Wee Herman Show was a successful stage show that was initially for adults, but was later developed into a beloved children's TV series.
My good friend Pee-wee!
Hi, Mario.
Before the television program, Warner Brothers decided to make a feature-length film based on Paul Rubens' character, and hired Tim Burton to direct what would ultimately be his feature-length film debut.
Warner Brothers thinks your story would make a fantastic movie.
My story?
A movie?
Pee-wee's Big Adventure became such a hit that it spawned a sequel, earned cult status, and led to the studio rehiring Burton to make more movies for them in the late 80s.
Let's go. Don't you want to see the rest of the movie?
I don't have to see it, Daddy. I lived it.
Number 8. Commando. Our next entry stars Arnold Schwarzenegger as an ex-Delta Force operative who discovers all the other members of his unit have been murdered and that his daughter has been kidnapped.
Your daughter's safe, Colonel. Whether she stays that way is up to you.
Turns out that an ex-South American dictator wants him to execute a political assassination in exchange for his daughter's life. So the colonel launches a one-man mission against the mercenaries.
I'll be back, Bennett.
Needless to say, the movie is full of testosterone and explosions, which explains why it grossed over $200 million. The cult classic was also praised for its tongue-in-cheek humor.
Remember, Sally, when I promised to kill you last?
That's right, Major. You did!
I lied.
Number 7. Cocoon.
I'm ready to take on the world! Ow! Ow!
This science fiction film by director Ron Howard tells the story of a group of senior citizens who find themselves accidentally rejuvenated after they swim in the pool neighboring their retirement home.
What the hell?
Little do they know that their neighbors are peaceful aliens from Antaria that have come to collect their fellow Antarians that have been left cocooned at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean thousands of years ago.
We're Antarians. We come from a planet called Antaria.
Yeah, that's what I pretty much figured.
Rather unique for its mixture of science fiction and sentimental comedy, Cocoon was a critic's darling that won 2 Oscars, one for Best Visual Effects and one for Best Supporting Actor by Don Amici.
I'm too old for that kind of thing.
Age isn't everything.
No.
It was also a box office smash and spawned a sequel 3 years later.
Stop! Everybody out! You have no right to be here. You are trespassing here.
Number 6. After Hours.
Different rules apply when it gets this late, you know what I mean? It's like After Hours.
Perhaps one of the lesser-seen Martin Scorsese classics, The next movie on our list is a black comedy set in the streets of, you guessed it, New York.
Where are you going?
I'm going home. I'm walking home now.
When regular guy Paul meets a pretty girl in a cafe, he has no idea that he's about to have the worst night of his life.
They're all trying to kill me. I mean, I just wanted to leave. You know, my apartment, maybe meet a nice girl. And now I've got to die for it, you know?
What ensues from their meeting is a series of very unfortunate events that eventually brings things full circle. Although lighter in spirit, the cult film is undeniably Scorsese, full of dark humor and a tribute to the city that doesn't sleep, even after hours.
I'm in big trouble. Those people up there, they want to kill me. Is there another way out of here?
No.
Is there another way out of here?
No.
What is...
Number 5. The Goonies.
Come on!
Our next entry was adapted by Chris Columbus from a story by Steven Spielberg, and although the latter didn't direct the film, it has all the components of a Spielberg adventure movie.
Don't say that! Never say that! Goonies never say die!
When a group of boys decides to try saving their homes from foreclosure, they accidentally unearth an old treasure map that leads them on an adventure to find the booty-covered remains of One-Eyed Willie, a pirate from the 17th century.
So, that's why they call you One-Eyed Willie.
The movie is a quotable cult classic.
First you gotta do the truffle shuffle.
It spawned a series of video games, and there have been talks of a possible sequel since 2007. Number 4. The Color Purple. Based on the Pulitzer Prize-winning novel of the same name, this period piece was the most talked about drama in 1985.
All my life I had to fight. I had to fight my daddy, I had to fight my uncles, I had to fight my brothers. Girl child ain't safe in the family means.
Directed by Steven Spielberg, it follows the trials and tribulations of a young African-American girl living in the early 20th century.
Get the hell out of my house!
However, it's not only about the difficulties of being African-American in the United States at the time, but also about being a woman.
You cut me and I'll kill you.
The film received 11 Academy Award nominations, and although it didn't win any, it remains one of the most important movies of the year.
I think it pisses God off if you walk by the color purple in a field and don't notice it.
Number 3. Brazil. This undeniable sci-fi classic comes from none other than director Terry Gilliam, whose dystopian vision of a bureaucratic future still resonates with cinephiles today.
Sam, it's time for you to grow up and accept responsibility. Your poor father would be appalled at your lack of promotion.
Starring Jonathan Pryce as a sick-of-his-job government employee, the film follows him as he tries to correct an error that killed the wrong man, and in turn makes Sam Lowry an enemy of the state.
Jack, I'm innocent, please. Help me.
The film stands out among other science fiction movies from 1985 for its social commentary, in addition to being an example of weird and even psychedelic-like filmmaking. Brazil was also rightly nominated for 2 Oscars for Original Screenplay and Best Art Direction, and unsurprisingly became a cult flick.
All I can say is don't fall at the last fence. The finishing post's in sight. See you in the paddock. Do cooperate. Think of your mother. Good luck. Keep your eye on the ball. Gotta go. Can't keep the orphans waiting.
Number 2. The Breakfast Club.
Totally.
1985 was a big year for director John Hughes, whose teen movies could be funny and sad in subtle ways that still resonate with audiences today.
Are you through? No, I'm doing society a favor. So? That's another one right now. I've got you for the rest of your natural-born life if you don't watch your step. You want another one? Yes. You got it. You got another one right there. That's another one, pal.
When 5 high school students meet in detention, they appear as stereotypes to each other and to the audience. There's the jock, the pretty girl, the weird one, the nerd, and so on. But as the day progresses, they begin to pour their hearts out to each other in both hilarious and heartbreaking ways.
Andrew, you've got to be number 1.
I won't tolerate any losers in this family. Your intensity is for shit. Win! Win! Win!
Although few critics took the film seriously at the time, the coming-of-age flick has grown into a classic and is one from an era when teen movies had substance.
Sincerely yours, The Breakfast Club.
Before we unveil our number one pick, here are some honorable mentions.
Right now, the country's not in such great shape.
What do you mean?
We're in the middle of a depression. Everybody's very poor.
Don't you know what the Nazis did to people? Jews, Marxists, Catholics, homosexuals?
Of course I know. What do you take me for, an even dumber broad than I am?
Get used to the cement, honey. This is our house. Forever. This is it. We found ourselves, boy, did we find ourselves in the middle of nowhere with nothing.
This isn't real. You know what it is? It's St. Elmo's fire.
Number 1, Back to the Future.
When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
Starring Michael J. Fox in his most iconic role, our number 1 pick is a movie that successfully mixed all the genres that were popular in 1985.
Precisely.
Whoa, this is heavy.
There's action, there's comedy, adventure, and sci-fi.
This has gotta be a dream.
There are even some pretty good sound effects, for which the film actually won an Oscar. The quintessential 1985 teen Marty McFly is sent 30 years back in time, and he has to make sure his parents meet so that he can ensure his own existence.
I hope you don't mind, but George asked if he could take me home.
Great, good, Lorraine. I had a feeling about you too.
Critically and commercially successful, Back to the Future was the year's biggest flick, and went on to grow into a successful franchise.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Do you agree with our list?
Truth?
Truth.
No.
What's your favorite movie from 1985?
Are you sure you want to find out?
For more entertaining top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
Forgot.